Well, hello, my beautiful Cancerians. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your career and money reading for the end of August, right through the end of September 2025. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about to pretend to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam. Okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. Also, something that may be of benefit to you during this time as you take a breath, a pause for yourself, really visualize the sort of success that you desire to achieve, the money that you want to accomplish, and anything else around your career or money situation, because the Gaia chimes, they recalibrate vibrations, helping attach you to a vibration of manifestation. So something to think about there that may be of benefit. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Cancerians, this is your career and money reading. I'm going to get all of your cards first before I connect to an outcome. Now, with the energy of the Gaia chimes, I really felt that you're working really hard, very busy, but there seems to be so many levels here. There's the dream level, things that you're aspiring to achieve, the practical level where you're super busy. You may feel a little bit like burnt out and sometimes fed up. I gotta be honest with the energy that I just got there coming out. But also there's an energy of like something isn't fitting or it's clashing. This could be with a person or a project. Perhaps you feel like you need a bit of a gear shift to move forward, or you just feel like something's not hitting right in some way. Well, you are going to recalibrate that, whatever that is. So if it is a challenging relationship in your career sector, or you've been challenged financially in some way, or perhaps you feel like you've reached a plateau in something that you do already and you're trying to move to the next level, but it's just been a bit of a long, hard slog, I definitely see here you are recalibrating in order to move past this. Okay, so that was coming out there very strongly. Now, your first card there is the house. Okay, so some of you may be contemplating working from home or setting up a business from home. Some of you may even be thinking about selling pre-loved goods from the home environment in order to, you know, just make more money rather than it just taking up space, as it were. So you may be looking into these areas right now just to, you know, get access to more finances. But I feel more than anything, it's like decluttering. Okay, so a lot of you may be kind of going through old things that perhaps you've outgrown and thinking, you know what, I could sell this on and just make a little bit of money from that. So it could be a headspace that you're in right now that is not connected to your career. I mean, some of you may actually make a career out of that, but I just feel more than anything that you are in a position right now where you are kind of like simplifying things in your career. We've got the Devil card there as well. I felt it in the energy. I mean, the Devil card is not an evil card. It can mean that you're obsessively working towards something and maybe even kind of like looking at the way that you usually do something and feeling like it's not working. So you're finding an alternative approach, maybe like tearing up the script, as it were, and doing something really original. But we'll get to that in a moment. There's definitely a portal of opportunity. I feel a lot of you have been under pressure. The Devil card can indicate like a feeling of being stuck in some sort of plateau or some sort of position right now where you feel like it's just jamming or jarring. Okay, but I want you to be aware the Garden card highlights a portal opening up where things just get easier. You manage stress levels. I feel a lot of you with the Star in the Resistance position, it tells me that you've been really tested recently. You feel frustrated. Don't get me wrong, you may love what you do or aspects of what it is that you do, but there is a dissatisfaction kind of humming around in the background somehow, and you may feel that you have been under a lot of stress. You're doing a lot of stuff right now. You may be trying really hard to create security in your personal life, because the house can represent, a need for security in your house, your home life. You're focused on mortgage payments or rental payments, but also it can be security in the working environment in your career. So I feel that right now you've employed some sort of structure. You are thinking about your 5-year plan. I feel like, look, the Death card is in the Resistance position. Some of you have been feeling a little bit stuck. Or it's not that you're drifting, because I feel like you have a goal, okay? You may be feeling like your industry has changed, or it's put the pressure on in a really unusual way, and it just feels like the goalposts are always being moved. You're at capacity, and again, even if you love what you do, you may just be witnessing changes, recalibrations, restructures, a revamp, or an overhaul of an industry that you work in, and you're just feeling it. And you may be, feeling a bit nervous or worried, or we got the Strength card there. We got the Magician. We got a lot of major arcana cards here for you. So the next couple of weeks are a big deal. You've only got the King of Swords there. That is a minor card, and that can be that you're deep in thought. You're thinking about your strategy. You're thinking about your plans. You're calculating something financially. And, I feel this is about you kind of like making some radical changes in the way that you work. We got the Hierophant. Oh my gosh, I've rarely seen a reading where you have so many major arcanas. So I would say a lot of you, new knowledge is the key to unlocking the next level, whether it's a certification, qualification, or even you just trying something new out, very explorative. I feel this is an energy where you shine. You have the Star energy, so you may feel like you're going like unnoticed right now. You're just doing your thing. Day to day, same old thing, just a different day. And you're just, trying to reach for your goals right now and wondering if portals of opportunity and change are going to be bestowed upon you for you to enter the next level or, have more prosperity. Well, the answer is yes. I feel like you're working really hard for it. We've got an Ace of Wands. And we've got an 8 of Pentacles. So this is consistency through success. So I feel that, the main ingredient of success actually is consistency. So whatever your level of success that you're aspiring to achieve is, because it's going to be different for everybody. A lot of you are like, I want more money. Others may be like, I want my reputation to increase, or it may be that you want like a golden opportunity. Whatever it is that's your focus, personally, I feel like you are going to achieve it. The universe is intervening here to transform in the most magical of opportunities, and I feel this is something you're going to be very excited about. But let's get back to the very beginning. This is your protagonist energy. This is the house. So, of course, security in the working environment. Now, unfortunately, the one thing in life in general that we must be aware of is that life is all about change, okay? Nothing really ever stays the same. So I feel, getting comfortable with the fact that you are an asset to your industry or to the company that you work for, or even if you work for yourself, stability is something that we all strive for, but we must acknowledge that, looking at your energy, you are secure. I want you to be aware of that. But change is always afoot, and it's about navigating. I don't like that message either, but that's life. The seasons change, people change, circumstances change, but I feel like you are secure, and I also feel that, this is about you keeping abreast of knowledge or wisdom or contacts, or just having the information that is radically changing in your industry, whatever that is. You're kind of like ahead of the game, or you're like so knowledgeable. You also are very intuitive. You have the foresight to kind of lock on to things that make you secure in your industry. Not only do you have talent and that you're gifted, but also I feel like you work really hard with that Eight of Pentacles to make sure that you're focused, diligent, and always aware of changes. So you can lock it in and, of course, rise to the occasion so that you are relevant in your industry, whatever that is. Okay, so I feel like you are secure. I want you to be aware of that before we move forward. For some of you, if you have come to this reading though, and you have been out of work or made redundant, or you've come to the end of a contract perhaps, or you had to leave a toxic environment, one that was very highly pressured and really did not kind of like take healthy working practices into consideration there, I do see that there is a new role coming up here for you. Aces are new. There's a window of opportunity, as it were, or a portal, a door to more, as it were. I do feel here that networking will be really beneficial if you are an entrepreneur and you're looking for like new clients or looking to expand your reach. This could be networking online or networking in events that are connected to your industry in some way. But if you're currently looking for an opportunity to work with a company, I see a really friendly, open, I'm just being given open door policy. I don't really know what that means, but I'm guessing it means that, you know, they really take into account who you are, how you feel about your role, and you can come in at any time and discuss things. That's what I'm being given. So I feel like there is a role here where you will work hard in it. Don't get me wrong. I feel like you're someone who has the skill set and the talent that they're looking for. I feel like you revamp or change a working environment that you go into. So I do feel here that you may doubt, you know, as you go through the interview process, okay? But I would say don't doubt your wonderful self. Look at what you have that other people cannot offer in this role, because I feel like you stand out. The reason you're in the room in the first place is because they love your resume, okay? I feel this is somehow relevant, you know, because it can be that, you know, if we imagine that this is a resume, it's like sometimes we fear that if we try to reach for a role that is like out of our remit or is wanting certain qualifications that perhaps you could learn on the go. Sometimes we doubt, well, will we get that role because we don't have those qualifications? But I feel like you can learn as you earn, or, you know, you will be trained in this role. So I would say, like, reach for the top, because I feel like you're about to get it. So don't worry about what you feel like you lack on your resume, because the fact that you're in for an interview in the first place indicates they love what you're about, okay? Now, some of you may have been told that you're overqualified because King of Swords is there, which means you're very established at what you do. You're very diligent, very thoughtful. You know, you have a lot of skills. You're a pro at what you do. That tells me that straight away. So if anyone says that you're overqualified, don't make this like a worry. Of course, you want the role that they're kind of saying that about. But I would say it's really important to recognize that they really love your skills, right? Because they wouldn't give you the time of day. If they're saying you're overqualified, it basically means they don't have the money in the budget to offer you what you truly deserve. However, there is a role coming on in that will pay you what you truly deserve, okay? So I do see a transformation here. I do see you returning to work. Okay, and with the Eight of Pentacles, it means that you are a pro and you get a role that matches your pro salary, whatever that is for you, okay? 8 is the number of the self, so that means that you are investing in yourself now. So you may be actually downloading new courses or learning new skills, or just keeping like in the know about your industry and how it's changing. And I feel that sets you apart from other people. So if you're looking for a role, I definitely see one coming through. There may be an energy where you're offered a role in a company where it's quite strict, or it just feels like, how can I put that? I feel there's kind of two roles, basically. And I feel there's one that you feel, oh, this is a little bit like not me. Okay, obviously you're going to do your due diligence and trust your feeling on it. I feel like you may turn something down, actually, and favor another role over that. And I feel the VIPs in this position, they really love you. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for clients or customers and you're feeling there's been a bit of a lull and you're just a little bit worried about your industry, I do see here things are changing, and I feel like you are going to have a bit of a glow up. I feel like more people are going to be attracted to your goods or services, whatever it is that you do. When I say entrepreneur, I mean like you run your own business, independent worker. Even if you're like an artist and you run your own business, that is also an entrepreneur. I do see some comments in the boxes below where it's like, oh, you're only talking corporate, but that's not true at all. I'm talking about across the board. You know, if you run your own business, I consider you like an entrepreneur as well, because you're doing your own thing. Okay, so I feel that's something that's coming through. I want you to be aware there's new clients, new customers, new attention to your industry. Okay, so let's reel this back, and with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to disconnect from anybody who is wanting a role, but I do see an energy where you feel like you've hit a plateau, but something new is coming on in. Okay, and for a lot of you, if you feel, because we have the house energy, if you feel like you are at a certain position in your career right now where you're comfortable, okay, because the house can represent a level of comfort, but I feel you are in a thinking mode where you're strategizing your next move, you know, trying to implement new tools or new ways of doing things just to keep things fresh. But also, you know, you may be contemplating a move, putting your resume out there, just seeing what else is out there to see if you can get, you know, more money there, or at least money that reflects the amount of effort that you put into your role, because you work really hard, okay? And I feel there is something new coming on in, but this could also be new practices, or you're changing the way that you work through tools. So it could be that you're buying new kit for whatever it is that you do. You know, it could be even social media platforms, for example. It could be that you're utilizing the internet in some way. I mean, it says here, home, family, structure, comfort, stability, familiar, domestic affairs, safe, and privacy. So some of you could be working behind the scenes on a project that you are kind of finalizing, and it's ongoing at this moment in time because the death card is in the resistance position. But with the Ace of Wands there, I see the next 6 weeks could be a really monumental moment where you launch something. This could be a new product, it could be a new way of working, it could also be like launching a partnership with a social media platform or a person in some way. But I definitely see some new energy coming in, something that you're inspired to really partner up with. It's a new endeavor, it could be a new idea. Whatever it is, you have the energy, the motivation, and the drive to run with it, and it's got so much potential. And I feel, you know, you're going to work really hard on this, but it's going to be so worth it. You know, this card can also indicate, because it is a moon card, as you can see there, it says the moon, it can indicate that you feel a little bit nervous about your industry, but I feel like you are secure, okay? This is your protagonist energy as well, so lots of new ideas. Basically, if you are focusing on your finances and you're like, Baba, I'm not about the career right now, just tell me about the finances, I feel like you are steady, you're maintaining and sustaining. Eight of Pentacles means you're working hard for those finances. You know, you are opened up to a financial strategy that you're going to stick to. You're going to hit your financial goals, paying for the home space, because a lot of you, the house, and if you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Eight of Pentacles sees a figure, you know, really kind of like hammering away at a pentacle, and there are 8 pentacles on that card, and in the background there is a house. So this can be that either you're working really hard to save for real estate, or you are working really hard to, you know, pay off your mortgage, repayment plans, or it can also be that you're thinking about going into real estate, working in the industry, and you may notice that there's been some challenges, rules, regulations, and policies changing that have affected you. But I do see that, you know, there is something new coming on in that actually offers a little bit more potential. So if you felt the squeeze in some way, I feel like there's something changing here that really benefits you across the board. So I would say that you're maintaining and sustaining, you're working really hard for the finances. I can definitely see that. I feel also that you're saving for a large purchase, okay? And that doesn't have to be real estate. It can be like a vacation. Some of you are working really hard, extra hard, being very structured, because this is a structure card, and the King of Swords is definitely structure. It means that you're organized. It means like you're on top of things. So you may be changing the way that you work in terms of time, schedule, so that you can have like a vacation or some time having a staycation, maybe a day off for yourself to do something. But this basically means you're productive, you're working, you're diligent, and you are kind of like keeping everything in order, as it were, and being a pro at what you do. You know, this is a card where truth is important, but it says here King of Swords, and it's really important that I tell you this because I just read the card again, I know it's the King of Swords because I saw it at the beginning and I've been talking about it, but this beautiful card, the sword, is actually over the S. So I actually read it as I put it down again as King of Words. Words are so important, okay? Thoughts become things. And I feel some of you, if you're not documenting things, because this can indicate that you are focused a lot on administrative tasks, documents, emails, correspondence. Some of you may be getting a presentation ready, or you may be getting an appraisal. For example, I feel that people in positions of authority really love what you're doing. So if you are working for a company, this can indicate an appraisal that comes in that tells you about some new rules, regulations, or changes that are going on behind the scenes. I mean, I'm not seeing promotion energy. I got to be honest. I'm seeing new project energy. So it could be something you're figureheading at this time. I feel, the next couple of weeks is all about maintaining and sustaining for you, staying on top of things. But some of you could be thinking about earning more money. And it can be that you are implementing second streams of income, perhaps writing a book, or writing a podcast, or writing some sort of thing online, a course perhaps of knowledge, because it's all about knowledge. It could be that you are looking at how skillful you are, which you are very established and very knowledgeable in what you do. And it can be that you are thinking about spin-offs of whatever it is that you do. So if, for example, you are working in HR, okay, it can be that you are looking at writing a document or a book or a handbook on, the pitfalls of HR and how you found the journey into HR, and, how you have to keep au fait with all the new legal policies that change all the time, and how you want to be there for the people and everybody who works for the company, but ultimately you're also beholden to the establishment that you work for. It's a fine line between, being impartial, let's put it that way. And I'm mentioning it because this is an impartial card. But it could be that you work in construction, for example, and you start talking about that. Or it can be that you set up a podcast about working in a warehouse or a factory, and like, okay, it means that you do the same thing day in, day out. It's monotonous sometimes, but it pays a certain amount of money that helps you keep your life ticking over. And you may talk about, aspirations, dreams, and, the pitfalls or hardships, or even like the great moments, the golden moments, the camaraderie that goes on. So I feel some of you are thinking about these things because this is a very thoughtful energy, and it can be like, how can I make money from home? Okay. For some of you, if you already work from home, this could be that, you feel a little bit isolated in your circumstances. I do feel there is something, if you work from home, there may be a minor frustration. Okay. And that could be in terms of sound, or some sort of distraction, like neighbors doing DIY or something that occurs in the next 6 weeks. But it's something you rise above, and I feel like you're not going to be fazed by it. Okay. But King of Swords, you're deep in thought. You're thinking about your 5-year plan. There's a strategy. And I feel like you may even be thinking about retirement or your 401ks. And we've got the Magician card. So as I said, there's these layers going on. Okay. With the Magician card, that's very magical. That's about your power of possibility. That's you being empowered to say, look, I'm manifesting new opportunities at this time, and your thoughts become things. But there's a very practical side to you as well, where you're just shaping your life, and you should be really proud of yourself, because I feel like, you are making things happen. But I also feel this energy of you having the foresight, like seeing the future of your industry in order to plan ahead, whether that's early retirement, whether that's material gains, whether that's a career arc, is what I'm being given here. But whatever it is, I feel like you are in this arc where there is a doorway to open possibilities to you. So I would say there is something potentially opening up for you in the next coming weeks. And it feels like it has a lot of potential, and it's a stepping stone. Okay, so please apply that to your situation. I feel some of you may also walk away from something that you feel does not reflect your true worth. And, you kind of like favor something. Of course it is. I mean, why wouldn't you? But we have that star. It's in the resistance position. So it can indicate a lot of you feel like you go about your daily routines and you go unnoticed. You may feel unappreciated. You may also feel like you haven't quite hit what you're wishing for in your career sector, but you're well on your way. Okay. The star energy will go into the upright, which means recognition, success. For some of you, if you are like an influencer from the home space, for example, or you do something online, I would say you're about to have the glow up that you've been hoping for, okay? There's going to be some changes going on there. It may make you feel extra pressure, okay? Because sometimes when you hit a certain level of success, then we have to maintain it. So no matter what level you are at in your career, okay, you may feel like you are at a certain level where you've hit a bit of a glass ceiling and you want to smash through that, okay? And of course, there is that pressure on you to maintain what you have or be better than where you have achieved. You're always reaching for more. I want you to be aware that you are going to surpass that and you are going to achieve more. There's a lot of success here. The star energy indicates that you are aligned with a wish. You know, it also indicates that you are going to be a little bit more hopeful in your industry. Miracles do happen. There's something out of the blue that's going to pop up here for you. But it says here, recognition, goals, dreams, fame, wishes, optimism, progress, and reputation. And you may feel like you've been working really hard and not seeing the progress that you deserve, okay? Sometimes when you're in the middle of something, it's really hard to gauge where you feel like you are at and how far you've come. Sometimes we need to take a pause. So if you are taking a vacation, I mean, I'm not seeing any vacation energy here. The home is kind of like either coming back from a vacation. It's giving you time to think. Perhaps you went away during your birthday season, my beautiful Cancerians. But this is you kind of like looking for the next steps, you know, healing perhaps a rift with a person. There may be a person in a position that, I mean, we've got the Hierophant there. Someone who, like, when you try to do something new, tells you that, well, that's not something we want because we've always done it this way. And you're like, well, yeah, we've always done it this way, but it's kind of like outdated or it isn't working, or we could streamline, be more efficient, simplify things, and find an alternative way. And, you know, you may be kind of like trying to buck a trend here, because the Hierophant in a resistance position is to do something original. It is to do something that is not typical. It's not the norm. It goes against the structure. So it's really interesting. As I said, you've got these layers where, yes, there's a structure that works, but a lot of you are trying to reach for something new or trial something new there. And I feel it helps you reach a goal by kind of like looking at what works, but then also implementing something new that helps build on whatever it is that you do already. So I would say you are going to see some major success. I mean, Jupiter is in your sign, my beautiful Cancerians, which means there's a lot more luck available to you for the next like year or so, or even more. And you know, you've got the Jupiter card there, so I feel that there is about to be a lucky break, but I feel like it's not quite that, because I feel like you've worked so hard for it. So I feel the structure you have in place is working, but you are now just building upon it in some way to help you advance. Also, I feel with the Death card, because it is in the resistance position and it will go into the upright, something big is changing in your industry, and I feel like you are well aware of it. And I feel that's why you have like taken accountability and been responsible for you gaining new knowledge, or, you know, kind of like trying to advance new qualifications, certifications, or just being aware of how the industry is changing so that you can be ready for it. It's like you saw this coming with the star energy, and that sets you apart from other people. So I feel it's helping you be really established in your industry. Also, some of you may have witnessed like downsizing in your industry, maybe redundancies as well, or people leaving. So it can have rocked the boat a little bit, but I feel like you are kind of like adjusting your sails, as it were, in order to remain on course with your goals. It's like you're being really diligent there with that Eight of Pentacles and the Strength card. It's like you're riding it out and you are secure in your industry, okay? Changes always happen, and I feel these changes for you, because you have a transformative card with the Ace of Wands, very positive, okay? So this could be that you're shifting the way that you work, but also I'm getting this main energy of an ending of a challenging cycle, or an ending of like you not being seen or appreciated for what you do. This is your time to have your glow up. This is your time to either like launch something or allow yourself to be seen or network in some way, or your work, your talent, it basically speaks for itself. This is your glow up. So I feel this glow up will literally transform your life in some way, give you access to more. For some of you, this could be like you're getting into the inner circle. You know, you're meeting new people or you're making connections that will help you advance and rise, because I do see a rise here. I mean, for some of you, this could also be that there is some sort of team building event or team outing that's going to go on, and you network with someone who's in a very hierarchical position. But if you are someone who's an entrepreneur, you work for yourself, you're an independent worker there, I definitely see that there is like a reshuffle going on in your industry, and someone who has been very relevant and very famous in this position, I feel like they step down or, you know, make way for new talent, as it were. And I feel like this puts you on course to be up there with other legends in your industry. If you're someone who wants to be famous, I would say that this fame will literally change your life in some way. The Hierophant indicates as well that, of course, there'll be someone who wants to take you under their wing to guide you and navigate these changes for you. So if you are an artist, performer, writer, for some of you, I would say, even like a musician, I would say that this could be a manager or some sort of intermediary that helps you navigate fame and keeps you protected from, you know, any bad deals, things like that. But let's make it more grounded. The star is you kind of like being in the spotlight for something that is really positive for you, some sort of good news or victory or even an award. If you have like a petition for something or, you know, applied for something, I feel this could be like a successful moment where you get what you want in order to advance to the next stage. Or if you're applying for like a visa, passports, or you're even applying for a certain like entry into, I'm not saying competitive energy, but it could be like entry into some sort of governing body that says you're official, you're legit, for example. I'm trying to think of something like that. So for example, because we've got like this indication of a writer, it could be like a writing governing body, like the Writers Association or something like that. If it's construction or architecture, it could be like a major architectural kind of like governing body. You get the gist. I feel it could be that you're kind of like being noticed in circles now that see you coming up and realize you're already established, but they always say that someone who's coming up who's already established, like they're a newcomer, but you're not really. You know, it feels very much like I've seen sometimes that certain actors who become like really famous in the public eye, and it says, oh, newcomer, and then they'll give their name, and I go, oh, let me see what they've done. And then I'm like, newcomer, they've been working for like 20 years. What? You know, and I think you've been on the end of that as well. So I feel there's this energy of like you're already established, but somehow there is this glow up happening for you. And with the Ace of Wands, it's like you're not a newcomer, you're very established. So even if you're going into a new working environment, you know, you're considered a newcomer, but actually you have a wealth of knowledge behind you that sets you up as being someone who is, you know, responsible, but also to be respected. Okay, so that's coming through there as well. I see a lot of you downloading new knowledge. You know, this is kind of like new knowledge that is advancement. So the Hierophant in the upright can be like old knowledge, structures, the way things have always been. So I feel like you've got that under your belt already, but I feel like you're being a bit of a maverick and looking at new structures, how new tools or advancements in technology, and I'm only mentioning technology like King of Swords is all about the air, the ether. So it could be that you're looking into like websites or podcast or, you know, social media platforms in some way, or technical tools that help you, you know, do what you do, but don't hinder you, as it were. Don't replace you, as it were. So I feel there is something in that there. Now, of course, this indicates you're under a lot of pressure. You know, this is you at capacity. The word excess is there, so it can be that a lot of people depend on you when it comes to your career. You may have noticed that some people have been absent, whether it is because they're on a vacation, or even if, you know, you're working for yourself, you may notice there's been a bit of a lull in the industry. A lot of people are away, business kind of slows down, even though you're super busy. I feel some of you may have been worried that this is a turn for the worst, but actually I feel it's just seasonal, so I want you to be aware of that as well. It says here, lust, excess, materialism, limits, obsession, addiction. I mean, it's very important. In order to be successful at what you do, they do say that you have to be, you know, obsessed about what you do, or like absorbing all the knowledge, being in the know, that's a measure of someone passionate about their career. And I definitely see that you are passionate about what you do, but don't burn yourself out. A lot of you may be trying to do more than one thing, and you're wearing many hats in your industry right now. And I feel that, you know, there is this energy of you trying to get everything done, completed to a high degree, so you can have, you know, a little bit of a getaway. Because I feel like, I mean, for some of you, there may be a trip, because it does say retreat there. So some of you, it could be you retreating off somewhere in the countryside. But I feel more than anything, I feel this is a portal to like more wealth or more opportunity. It's like you're well on your way, but you're not there yet. You're working towards something, you're reaching for something, and you're going to accomplish it because you're working so hard for it. But some of you may be like, why does it have to be so hard? Sometimes with the Eight of Pentacles, the hardest thing is motivation, because you're doing what you do as a routine, same old thing, just a different day. It may feel frustrating, but it's a reminder that you are a pro at what you do because you're on autopilot. Some of you may also be trying to think of businesses or ways to make money that is automated or on autopilot in some way, like a book or like a, you know, something that someone downloads, like a course of learning. But I feel more than anything, a lot of you are putting yourself on a course of learning. So it could be that you're trying to do your work, whatever that is, and then study in the evening or in the morning, whenever, in order to inform your working environment so you can access new financial levels, because you may feel that you've reached a plateau and you want to go higher. So I definitely see that you are going to be able to do that. Now, for some of you, not all of you, if you work in an industry where it's a company, for example, you may be headhunted, but even if you're an entrepreneur, you may be headhunted by someone who wants to collaborate. This could be a brand deal, could be a sponsorship deal, could be even a social media platform. You may be partnering up there in order to promote your work, because this is a big promoter card with that King of Swords there. But more than anything, I feel this is about you being so good at what you do that people are noticing and they want to gravitate in towards your sphere. So this is about you kind of acknowledging healthier working practices and turning down anyone who causes you pressure or like pushes you around. I feel a lot of you are like maybe even healing from a very challenging or even toxic working environment. To have the Devil card, this can mean that, you know, there is a person who either storms out and leaves, or kind of like is let go because it's not conducive to advancement in the industry that you work in. So someone, if you are, for example, like an independent worker, you may witness someone who's actually well known in your industry and they are canceled in some way, or they have done something behind the scenes that perhaps is like not healthy, or it is, well, for some of you, with the Hierophant in the resistance position, it could be that they've been caught doing something against the law, for example. And it's like they're singled out, called out, and exposed in some way. And I feel this ends up being like a major reshuffle in your industry, okay? And how did this person get away with these things? So, you know, this could also be someone who works for a company as well. This could be like breaking news, for example. So that's something to watch out for, because it is coming out there. I feel it actually leads to a more peaceful working environment when it's called out. So there could be some changes around that. Now, on a personal level, a lot of you may be looking at the ends of contracts. There is someone you've been frustrated with. This could be a subscription. It could be, you know, a service provider or something that hasn't been working. You may actually decide to like terminate that contract or terminate your business or service with that person. This could be like, I don't know, your cable. It could be a cell phone company, because the frequencies, the internet, the Wi-Fi has not been working, or you can never access certain things on your phone. So it could be something, because I feel there's a technological change or shift for you this month over the next coming weeks. So it could be that you finally come to the end of that contract, or you find a way out of that that sets you free, okay? Strength card, this is a card that highlights that you are strong in your industry, that you're vigilant, that you're creative, you're avoiding drama, because the Devil card is there and the Garden is like, oh, okay, I need to remove myself from any dramatic encounters with anyone who is trying to push my buttons. I mean, I do see a lot of you under pressure and a lot of stress. So I feel like you are trying to get a little bit more out into nature or take like a step away occasionally, whether it's away from your screen or whether it's away just to have a moment to breathe, okay? Because your health is more important. Healthier working practices in the environment, even if you work for yourself. When you work for yourself, it's pretty much 24/7. It's always on your mind, your business, and sometimes it's hard to have a getaway or an escape because it's always you thinking about, your industry, your business, your tasks, your responsibilities, how you can maintain and sustain, but also increase, how you can build security. So it is hard. So it's important to make sure that you do take good quality rest. And when you switch off, that is a healthy working practice to say, enough. Now we do have that 8 of Pentacles. So yep, I feel like it's more of the same this month. Whatever you're doing, I feel like you're doing it to a really high degree. And I feel like this is a card of like just doubling down on what you do. For some of you, it could also be that you have something already ticking over, especially if you're an independent worker, but it could be 2 streams of income. It could be that you work for a company and you have an independent kind of side hustle there as well. I feel like you're just, keeping on, making it work. And I feel also there is this energy of you kind of being dedicated to something that is going to really start to glow up or really start to offer new opportunities. I mean, the Ace of Wands indicates, some sort of divine intervention. And if you're networking, you could meet a very influential person who opens new doors for you or gives you contacts that help you elevate. But also, I feel one day you'll become that contact if you're not already. You're the person in the know. So people are going to aspire to gravitate towards you for knowledge and wisdom and advice there. But it says here, party, event, meetings, reunion, crowds, playing the field, networking, and retreat. So I would say because Venus energy, of course, that will amplify wealth when it is direct. So I feel this is an opportunity that comes on in. Some of you may connect to a person that you used to know, but I feel a lot of you, it could be that you return to an industry or you return to happier working times. And this is about inspiration. It's about, powerful action in your industry, creative power. You're transforming the way that you work and you're turning your dreams into reality. Yes, you're doing the practical stuff, but also you're allowing yourself to manifest and dream bigger than ever before. You're talented, you're gifted, and you're taking things to the next level. And it's hard, but I feel like you're going to smash through that ceiling that you feel like perhaps you've been at. And if you're not satisfied in some area, I feel that, you are turning things around, but also noting pressure. When we try to pressure something or force it, it doesn't work. So I feel like you're trying to release a little bit of control there in order to let it organically happen. I mean, we've got a typewriter there as well. That's all about words. So perhaps, this is something that you are thinking about right now. I mean, this is a tool, right? A typewriter is an old way of doing something. So it could be that you're getting a new keyboard, for example, because King of Swords is to stay ahead of technology or utilize, very sort of innovative technology in some way. So it says here, use your inspiration to find ways to make more money, express your genius. That's what the King of Swords is. You are very knowledgeable. You have a genius mind. You're given ideas for a reason. So whether you're writing stuff down, whether you are creating something, whatever it is you're creating, it is going to flourish. It is something that becomes legendary or builds your legacy in your industry. And we've also got going in style. So this can indicate, a life of luxury that you're aspiring to. For some of you, it could also mean that you're trying to purchase a car. But I feel this is about you kind of acknowledging that, especially when it comes to your money, you work really hard for your money, and a lot of the time your money is spent on really practical things. Okay, looking at the energy, the Ace of Wands with the star, this can indicate it's nice to treat yourself occasionally. So perhaps there's a treat that you're going to give yourself shortly. It says little luxuries help you build up to greater things later. Okay, treat yourself. But I feel more than anything, this can be like you're building something. What you have as a success now is going to build, and it's going to amplify in your future. But you're doing this. You have a structure, you have a plan, and I feel like you're on course. Yes, there's always going to be pressure, or there's always going to be, multitasking. It's because you care about what you do. So I do see that you're busy, you're on the go, but you're managing stress levels, bringing cortisol down is what I see there. And I feel like, as you move through the next couple of weeks, if you've been exhausted because you're at capacity, I feel like suddenly you get vitality and you're inspired and you're making some changes. Whether it is a new endeavor, setting up a new business, for example, becoming your own boss for some of you, I feel like you have the energy to move forward with something that has so much potential and you're taking things to the top. So I'm just going to go and get a trinket or rune for you. Okay, so we have a snake. Okay, this is the year of the snake. So this is all about change, transformation. It can also indicate that you are trying to eradicate toxicity in the working environment or step away from it, gossip, if you work for a company. Or this can be that, you're in an industry where there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, or perhaps there's kind of like very volatile personalities that you have to deal with. Maybe it's like if you are public facing, and this means you don't have to be famous. It can be that you sell goods online to the public. It can be that you come across a lot of people who are dissatisfied or just grumpy, or they just like to moan. It can be that you're rising above that because you're bringing an A-game service and there's nothing really to moan about. But it can be that you are just dealing with the public in some way. And, sometimes it's never enough, because I do get an energy where you are doing the absolute best, bringing your A game in your industry, but you may deal with someone who, no matter what you do, they're never satisfied. They're actually not satisfied within themselves and they're projecting, is what I'm seeing there, okay? Also, we have an engagement ring, so this can indicate an engagement, okay? A meeting, very important meeting, perhaps where you deal with a person who's very challenging, but you win the room. But also, this basically is symbolic of your commitments. You're committed to something, and, true gems are formed under pressure. So yes, you're under pressure, but I feel like the rewards are going to be worth it. Just make sure that you're not impacting your health with what you're doing, because sometimes taking a step back helps the whole project or the whole endeavor to breathe, and it gives you time to get clear. But I do see that things are going to come full circle for you, and you're going to see a measure of success that you're truly proud of, because you're doing this. You're fully invested, and you are going to make great advancements. So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates, my beautiful Cancerians. Also, something that may be of benefit to you, writing things down as a declaration to the universe of what you aspire to achieve can help you cosmic order and manifest what you desire. So even if it's in private, write down the sort of money you aspire to achieve, the sort of accolades or reputation or level you want to reach in your industry, or even if it's not about your career, it's just about money. It's like, show me the money. Write down the sort of money that you want to have access to. See it in your mind like you have it in your hand. Go to your bank account, for example. I mean, not physically, but in your mind, and see the amount there. Write it down, because that is a declaration, a solid declaration to the universe that that's what you aspire to achieve. You can even write it in the comments box below and say, I claim success. I claim, finances. I claim security. Whatever it is, you're writing to the universe and you're solidifying it, because you're writing it down. Because sometimes we can manifest one day and say, dear universe, I would love to get this opportunity. It would be amazing. Then the second day, it's like, dear universe, I would love to get this opportunity and aspire to achieve this amount of money. Well, you've just changed your order. So it has to go back to the cosmic kitchen in order to be reordered, because you've added to what you asked for. So writing it down sets an intention, it sets it clear, and you don't reorder. You're just like, there's my order. And then you take strides towards accomplishing it, and you're just going to watch it unfold. Okay. So I'll leave it there. That may be, of benefit to you in some way, shape, or form. Thank you so much, my beautiful Cancerians, and love and light.